All right, hello. It is around 3 p.m. and welcome to this weather update, 3 p.m. March 2nd, 2019. And the light snow that we had is moving away, but there was some accumulation from it, and we're going to take a look at that accumulation right now because, first of all, there's a winter storm watch for a lot of areas around our area, and we may wind up being included in that for the next storm. And that one, like I said, could be a little more substantial, all right, than this one was. So let's take a look at the snowfall reports right now across our area. Connecticut got 5 inches of snow. Some areas got up to 5 inches of snow. New Jersey, Bergen County had some 4 and 3 inch amounts. In Union County, New Jersey had up to some 5 inch amounts. And New York City, Bronx actually got some 5 inch amounts too. Kings County in Brooklyn, 3 to 4 inch amounts. Here in Nassau, Syosset actually got 6.5 inches. But in most of the county, such as my area, we got around 3 or 3.5 inches. A little more than expected, actually. Except these things are hard to predict, you know. Queens, 4.7 inches. In southeast Queens, Whitestone, 4.1 inches. So there's snow on the ground in a lot of areas. However, it is starting to melt. But there's still some snow out there, and we're going to be getting more. So Center Point, Suffolk County, 5.2. Kings Park, 5 inches. Shoreham, 4 inches. Upton in the Pine Barrens, 3.4 inches. So there is some snow out there, and we did get some, a little more than some of the models indicated. For once, we actually overperformed with the snow. But of course, we have another storm on the way, and that is what we're going to be looking at here on the models. Is we're going to be looking at the next storm. So you can see here it is depicted on the GFS moving away from us, and that pulls out, and then we got to worry about the next storm. So the next storm comes in for Sunday night into Monday, and again, it's going to be one of those the rain snow line literally is very close to Long Island, which makes this forecast extremely tricky, and it makes it very hard to do. Now, according to the GFS, it would appear that most of Long Island stays in the snow, whereas New Jersey south of the Raritan is rain. This is the GFS description of what's going to happen. And then maybe those areas change up to a little light snow on the backside of the storm. Now, you know the GFS is not a model I like to use for snowstorms that much. You can see it's going to strengthen once it gets out over the water. Similar to this storm, it actually wound up strengthening once it got over the water, and that's why we have a little higher snowfall amounts. So let's take a look at the total snowfall from the GFS and see what it delivers. So it appears I see some purples over Long Island, so we could see 6 to 7 inch amounts on Long Island, but as soon as you go into Ocean County and south, you're talking an inch or less. So this is the GFF's depiction of what could happen. However, like I said, I'm not crazy about using the GFS. So let's go ahead and look at the NAM. I don't have the lid. I'll have to use the 12Z NAM for this one. And show you, well, I guess we could show you the total snowfall forecast from the NAM first. So this is the NAM, and the NAM is a little different in its shape. It actually has even areas of New York City maybe just getting a couple inches, maybe a little more in the mountains, but it really winds up slamming the east end and southeastern Connecticut with close to possibly 8 inches. That's because the storm probably intensifies the storm. So let's take a look at its radar interpretation here and see. We'll just back it up. So here's the radar interpretation. Of course, the NAM is colder, has that line further south, and then moves it up. But it doesn't quite reach Long Island. And like I said, this makes forecasting on Long Island extremely tricky for this storm. Now, again, it's going to hit overnight in the wee hours of Monday morning. And then it's out of here by Monday afternoon. So it's going to be a tricky forecast. No, it won't be a huge storm, but it's probably going to be the biggest storm of the season with the way this winter's gone. So we'll have to make a bit of a big deal out of it. It does have the mixing on the east end a little more, which confuses me as to why there are higher totals there than out west. I don't know why that is. But I think the possibility of parts of Long Island seeing 6 or more inches of snow is definitely a decent possibility of it. So don't be surprised if you see a winter storm watch issued fairly shortly and then followed by a winter storm warning, which is usually with snowfalls over 6 inches that they issue. that. So our last possibly decent chance of snow right here will be on early Monday morning. All right, so that's the NAM. We'll look at some other models. Let's go ahead and look at the RJAM as well. Enough of that in. Do I have enough of that in? I don't think I do. No, I do. I do. That's as far as it goes. All right, that should be enough. All right, so here's the RJAM's interpretation. Look at the RJAM. Really gives us heavy snow over Long Island, while New Jersey is heavy rain. So that line is so close. That line is so close. And that's what makes this forecast so difficult. I'm not going to make a forecast yet, but I will probably by tonight or tomorrow. Let's see what the total snowfall is in this, 'cause that's going to be interesting. Yeah, that one's going to be interesting. So if the RJAM is correct, Long Island would be getting 8 inches of snow. While you go south of this line here is barely anything. So it'll be a really distinct. This is the RJAM, which is not a model again I like to use. It's not a model I like to use. Let's see the HDRPS. Wow, the HDRPS also has a similar setup too as well. So, but the NAM does not. So again, the NAM is a model I like to use for these snow events. I think it does a better job. Because it's called the NAM stands for North American Mesoscale. All right, which means that it's a mesoscale model, meaning that it's better at it's got a higher resolution. So that's the thing. So we'll look at the ICON for laughs. It barely gives us anything. Maybe 3 to 4 inches. Not a model I like to use. Again, this storm is something that bears watching. Of course, we can also use the FV3 GFS, which has a tremendous cold bias. It's just a test model, and yeah, I think that's way off. So, it's just a test model. I wouldn't. Right now they're testing it, but there's a lot of issues with that model. And here's the Canadian. Again, the Canadian is similar to the other models again, and kind of overdoes it with the snow. Because that's the Canadian for you. That has a bias again. It has a really tremendous cold bias. So you can't really use that. So after we're done talking about the snow, what about clear skies? All right, so once the storm is over, we got to see, well, when are we going to get some clear skies, right? So, all right, so here's the storm. It's hitting, here it is on the satellite, or the simulated satellite, and this is the GFS. Tries to, probably Monday, we'll probably have plenty of clouds. What about Tuesday? Looks like Tuesday might be our next chance for some clear skies. But however, it's a narrow window. But I'm thinking maybe we get clear skies on Tuesday. And then for Wednesday, no, clouds. What about Thursday? Maybe some clouds then too. Some of this might be overdone. And once I go beyond this period, it gets a little hazy. You can't really count on the output after this. But you can see no real extended stretches of clear weather in our future, of course. And there actually aren't any in Flagstaff either. Much of the country is having a lot of clouds due to the El Nino pattern. Alright, so that's the GFS. I'm not going to look at any other models as far as the sky goes. Let's go and look at the temperatures, because we will be getting a cool down in the east here. Let's go ahead and... so here comes, again, with the snow, temperatures are borderline, and that's what makes the forecast so tricky, is that the temperature is like right around 32 degrees. That line is literally right over us. So it might be one of those just cold enough to snow situations. But then behind the storm, I think the cold air starts coming in, probably a little bit of a lag, and then by Tuesday, you will see here, Tuesday morning, we're in the teens, and then we don't make it out of the 20s for much of the area, at least on Long Island, on Tuesday, maybe hitting 30 in southern New Jersey. And the cold weather continues through the week, so we go in here and we see that Wednesday it's even colder, only in the mid-20s for much of the area, and Wednesday morning it's going to be in the teens, and that continues Thursday. We see temperatures in the teens again in the morning, and we are struggling to reach 30 on Thursday. So it won't be as cold as it was in the other Arctic outbreak we had, but this is Arctic air, so we'll be cold. And then for Friday, again, we are only in the 20s, so we'll be below freezing for about almost 4 days in a row for Long Island. And then after that, I think it's over because then the warmth comes back into the picture. You can see by Sunday, March 10th, we have some really warm air that's trying to make it into New Jersey. Some areas might wind up hitting 70. Let's see. Well, maybe another plunge. Maybe another plunge for yeah, maybe another plunge for March 12th there. So yeah, it could be. We could actually have another plunge again. So yeah, March may wind up being below normal for a change. But let's take a look and see. Let's just go to the CONUS view to show you, because the really cold air. You see, the cold air is going to the west again. You can see that, but it's a little more angled toward the east, and you see that. And that is why, yeah, they could see some of these plunges. We could have some really big plunges in March. So maybe we'll have some more chances for snow too. Let's take a look at the storms and see how that goes. So yeah, maybe we'll make up for lost time here in March. All right, so there's that storm there. You can see it really strengthens once it gets offshore. Then we try to get some fair weather in here. And then, maybe another little light snow event possible for the weekend. But then, yeah, typical storm track on that Sunday goes to the west, so we get heavy rain. This one, it's suppressed. So, yeah, that really the only major snow chance we have is the storm we have coming for Monday morning, early Monday morning right now. That's what it looks like in this forecast on the GFS. I can look at the Euro as well and see if there's anything else here, but I don't see anything. But hey, enjoy the week of below normal temperatures in the snow. We got a little bit of more winter coming. Maybe the last gasp of this winter. This winter has been very lame. But that is going to be it for this weather update. Lastly, looking at the satellite, tons of clouds, of course, over our area. But much of the nation is covered in clouds. If we go and we look at I'll change the view to just CONUS. So we'll go ahead and look at this. You can see much of the country is covered in clouds. Even Flagstaff, there's some clouds in the southwest, clouds over here. Look at that, clouds over the whole country. That's what happens when you have an El Nino pattern. With an El Nino, as I've said before, is when the Pacific has got some warmer than normal ocean temperatures. So that's going to be it for this weather update. Take care, and thank you for watching.